comes down faking and then switches it there, just trying to get his feet. You really have to watch these guys' feet on the board.
Not bad for a guy who's skating on his backup board. Andy McDonald taking over first place for now. In the skateboarding street prelims, we're cutting down from 24 to 10 finalists. Each of the competitors gets 60 seconds on the street course, and only the better of the 2 run scores counts toward making that final top 10. Here's more.
Skateboard Street, explain. It's a contest of man versus course as skaters attack a layout of launch boxes, pyramids, and quarter pipes. Diversity is key, as the best routines will display grinds down the railings, ollies over the obstacles, and varios. Those are board spins. The judge's overall impression will determine the score, so it will take a smooth style, an aggressive attitude, and few or no stumbles to take home the prize.
Rodil de Araujo Jr. was relatively unknown a year ago when he showed up in Newport at the Extreme Games. Now at the 96X Games, he is a very known quantity.
See how smooth his kick flips are? This guy is super technical. He's already done 3 kick flips, but he doesn't have a lot of power. Make it 4 kick flips. He needs to add some power to his run.
Crowd has really turned on to his technical work.
See, now he's picking up speed. This is more or less the most power that I've seen him skate.
Rodil de Araujo, does he go for the ramp transfer? Stays on that one and comes back down. 20 seconds to go.
And Rodil rarely falls. Even in practice, he rarely falls.
Very stylish Brazilian skater. He's got 5 seconds left toward the pyramid.
Nose bone over the pyramid. You notice how his kick flips, how much snap he has to his kick flip. Watch the rear foot. This is a 360 kick flip in which he spins the board.
Putting up an excellent first round score. Brian Patch standing in 5th place in the first heat after the first run. It doesn't look as if that 71.33 is going to stand up, so he's going to need a better effort here in his second turn on the street course to make the final.
Are you guys ready for Brian Patch? He's going to head for the Eagle.
Super powerful skateboarder, Brian Patch.
He's a good example of it as he easily clears the flat part of the jump box. That's a good measure of the difference in speed between skateboarders and inline skaters. The skateboarders are easily clearing that flat section. We saw very few inliners clear the flat.
And look how much speed and power he has as he's going from one end of the course to the next.
Patch on top of the hip, picking out a new line, taking advantage of the full vertical. Look at the acceleration to the pyramid.
Going right back in a big transfer. He did that in his first run.
So hard because you got a 4-foot gap in between the big ramp and the little one. Now he's going right back.
Jack, great usage of the sub box.
Ollieing over the rail.
Brian, 5th place in Padre Island as part of Destination Extreme on the street course. Really had an outstanding run because he was really fast. He had a good line. He used all the apparatuses out here, and he really didn't get hung up.
That is Brian Patch's bid to make the top 10. There are many more skaters still to come. Willie Santos put on a huge kickflip exhibition in his first run. There's an example of one.
And Willie being really smart, Jack, because he's maintaining basically the same line that he did in his first run. Real difficult over the hip, a kickflip, because he was going up at fakie. Sometimes it's tough to tell if he's fakie or switch stance. It all depends on where he points his shoulders.
some of the more experienced riders mix in difficult tricks with those which will give them a little bit of rest. They can show some technical skill without really gassing themselves in the middle of the routine, and that lets them save something for the final seconds of their 60-second run.
Willie being really smart right now, Jack, because he stuck to the same line. Right now he's in 4th place, so he hopes to stay here with this run, not really adjusting too much from it from the first time.
Couldn't bring it down on the far side of the rail. Willie Santos with another entertaining run. Santos with an 83 in the first round, and they give him 87.67 in the second. Rodil de Araujo Jr. is the current leader. There are many more skaters still to come. Andy McDonald currently in 4th. It probably will drop. It's going to be a wire shot to see if he makes the top 10 for the final. At the 1995 inaugural X Games, Chris Sen won on the street with a late dramatic trick, just barely beating this man, the legend Tony Hawk. Both of their preliminary runs are still to come.
And of all the things that helped revolutionize skateboarding, probably the biggest is something called the ollie. In 1978, Alan Gelfand tapped his back foot to the ground and led with his front foot, and that really made it possible to do all these tricks that you see.
I don't know if they've heard of Gelfand down in Brazil. They sure know how to do ollies, though. We see Rodil de Araujo Jr. Brazil, one of the emerging countries. It's kind of ironic, the neighborhoods in which a lot of the skaters grow up, the streets are in such disrepair, you really can't practice the street tricks. You have to go to a skateboard park, but they are doing a great job.
Later on the X Games, we go beyond endurance. It's a test for survival, a trip to the dark side of your mind. The extreme adventure race will take you back to the wilderness. But next, men's sport climbing, a strength-defying vertical dance. Who had the moves to make it to the top? The difficulty discipline is straight up. We're coming right back from Rhode Island.
I see a lake with a waterfall and little white caps shaped by the breeze.
There's a hotel.
And hundreds of air-conditioned rooms.
And minibars, no doubt.
Look, a Range Rover.
Ah, yes. A 4.0 SE. And a smashing woman giving caviar to that chap.
I see an igloo.
Land Rover products are available exclusively at Midwestern Auto Group of Dublin.
Riterug Congoleum Big Wheels deal will thrill you. Truckloads of Congoleum resilient vinyl floors are wheeling your way. Riterug had to wheel and deal to offer this beautiful no-wax floor starting at $5.99 a square yard. So wheel into Riterug for beautiful Congoleum vinyl floors at $5.99 a square yard. Riterug, guaranteed lowest prices for 61 years.
The world's biggest stars in the world's most popular sport come to play in your backyard. It's the birth of a new league, MLS on ESPN.
New England Revolution versus LA Galaxy, Thursday at 10.
The whole world is watching.
Now to sport climbing, a sport the late, great narrator John Facenda would have loved. A sport where man and wall are partners in a dance to defeat gravity, where each athlete must solve a puzzle on a vertical plane, using mind and muscle to create his own personal staircase to the sky. The X Games men's difficulty competition featured the Frenchmen who dominate the sport, and American phenom Chris Sharma, U.S. national champ and junior world champ. Would he be ready to share handholds with the big guns? Lon McCarron and climbing legend Lynn Hill describe the drama.
The goal is simple: get to the top. The requirements are strength and grace. The experience, exhausting. 7 of the top 10 climbers in the world are here. World Cup champion Francois Lombard. Italy's 7th-ranked Christian Brenna. Top-rated Francois Legrand. Arnaud Petit, rated 3rd. And right there with them, unranked 15-year-old Chris Sharma from Santa Cruz, California. Sharma is right at home among the elite. In his semifinal climb, Chris climbed very confidently.
Chris
Chris has a very natural climbing style. He flows from one hold to another in a relaxed, straight-arm position. Even experienced climbers waste incredible amounts of power by hanging from a bent arm position, and on a climb this difficult, you can't afford to burn extra energy.
Sharma's rise to the top has been astonishing. He is the reigning junior world champ and took first at the prestigious Phoenix Bouldering Comp a few months back. He climbs with an eagerness reserved for the young. Refreshing to watch, but there's something to be said about experience.
Chris has tunnel vision. He doesn't even notice the large handhold to his right. He's making this section much harder than it needs to be. On the same section, Arnaud Petit makes this move much easier. He uses the hold out right and is able to rest where Chris struggled.
Despite the mistake, Chris Sharma is into the finals by the slimmest of margins. But his X Games gold will have to wait as he injures his wrist 1 hour before the competition.
See, like these holds over there? See how they're bolted into the wall? One of them was loose, and I grabbed it on the side, and it slipped off, and I was about 10 feet up. And I fell upside down, and I landed right on my wrist. So.
Chris Sharma can only visualize his climb that will never be. All that's left is the shootout of 7 of the world's best, giving it their all. Arnaud Petit began climbing 2 years before Chris Sharma was born. He's already won the European Championships this year.
Arnaud has impeccable technique and brilliant strategy. He carefully chooses each foot placement to create an efficient flow of movement. He economizes his strength through optimal body alignment and precise application of force. He knows exactly what must be done and wastes no time in moving past difficult sections.
Arnaud has been climbing strongly all week long. In the quarterfinals, he fell off just 3 holds from the top. In the semifinals, he was perfect. They don't know it, but the remaining men will climb against Arnaud more than the wall. The overhanging wall suits the French style of climbing. 4 of the 5 Frenchmen entered are in the finals. For top-ranked Francois Legrand, it also provides for a display of panache.
He's showing off, and that will cost him. Using his feet on the wall would have saved him strength in his arms.
Francois Legrand was one of 7 finalists to have aced the semifinal route. But as it should be, this is proving to be the toughest test of the week. Francois Lombard is the #2 rated climber in the world. He would love to greatly improve on his 9th place showing at last year's games. One of 3 men will win: the man who watches, the man who climbs, or the man who waits. Lombard comes close, but he finds himself in 2nd place. Only Christian Brenna can keep Arnaud Petit from winning. Petit should worry. Brenna has been superb during these games. This Italian champion is the only climber to win a perfect score in the 2 previous rounds. Officially, Brenna does not know Arnaud Petit completed the route, but he was not deaf to the cheer when it happened. To Brenna, the mission is clear: get to the top and win. At last year's games, Arnaud Petit watched as the last climber bumped him from 1st place. It could happen again. Arnaud Petit can breathe again. He is your champion. Christian Brenna can only look in despair. Brenna's desperate lunge fell short. He settles for 3rd. Lombard takes the silver, and Arnaud Petit finally gets his gold. Arnaud's victory demonstrates his emerging consistency in sports climbing and sends the message: the big man on campus is now Petit.
Really a pleasure to watch the climbing competition all week in Newport. Katie Brown winning the gold medal in the women's, Hans Florian in the speed. Perfect conditions down there, perfect route setting, huge crowds. Petit, who came so close last year, beaten by the final climber, comes back, gets the gold medal. And Chris Sharma certainly does well in his first world competition at age 15.
And the wall itself was a success, and it had many nicknames. There was the ceiling, the underneath part, and the beast, the big overhang, the Terminator, the top part, which some of the people who watched enough climbing down there said should have been called the Eraser because it erased a lot of the people. You really have to appreciate every move they make, how important it is that when you take a hold, it's not just important for that move, but you have to plan ahead to the next one so you're in the right position. So much thought goes into it.
How much thought goes into Matt Hoffman? Coming up, we'll preview the bike vert competition. Matt playing hurt yet again as we come back to Providence. No climbing required to the bungee tower. Your work happens after you leave the platform. That's coming up tonight.